Welcome to today's installment of the Daily Shift, where every day, pretty much between Monday and Friday at 12:15 p.m. CST-ish, I bring you some soul food because I believe in the perfect equation. You will prosper and be in health as your soul, which is your mind, your will, and your emotions prosper. When you do things in that order, everything else just really aligns within itself under grace and perfect ways. You go into flow and automatically out of hustle, because really it is about getting your mind right. When you renew your mind every single day, and you don't have to do it for long, just a few minutes a day, it will then empower you to do the things that you need to do to get the things that you want, which is the act of your free will. But it's not so free. You can program your will to do what you want it to do, so you have those automatic responses. And that's what we've been talking about the last few weeks under the topic of manifesting things easier and really faster. I unpacked a lot of this in the 1010 event. And if you want more information around that, just go ahead and hashtag 1010 if you're on Facebook. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and I will send you a link where you can get more information as well. But in this series that we've been doing around manifesting things easier, I've been talking about the different pillars. And there are 4 main pillars. And today I want to dive into the 5th element, which is really the foundation of everything. And I dived into this more in the 1010 event. But the 5th element is your words. The words that you speak to yourself inside your head, inside your heart, and out of your mouth. Because in the soul prosperity, we have your mind, your will, and emotions. And a lot of times in these spaces, people will encourage you to visualize something until you can feel it. But if you have no points of reference, it's really hard for you to get into the emotions, energy, emotion of it. It's actually backwards. And it's harder. If you are not a person who already has this amazing active imagination. Like I have a great imagination, but it has to be in the right environment. I'm a lucid dreamer, but when I'm awake, I need a story to kind of draw me in, and then I can see it. I manifest differently. And so I would beat myself up, like, why can't I do this? Why is it taking so long? And when I started to really look at myself through a different lens, through the lens of human design, in there shows how I manifest faster and better. And for me, that's actually in my masculine energy, in the passive sense, doing like some bullet words, just write the words down or write a brief description. There are visualization and manifestation techniques that would encourage you to write the whole thing out. And I would do that, and it wasn't working. And when I saw that I actually manifest in a passive masculine energy, looking back, everything that I manifested was in that way. Everyone manifests, though, through words, because words are containers of power. Words matter because they become matter. We're made in the image and likeness of God, and He doesn't do anything without saying it first. This whole world, even if you don't believe in God, you might call it source or the universe or something out there that loves us. Everything on this planet runs on words. We get married, we get divorced. we rent, we buy. The stories that we believe become our belief systems. Everything you believe is just a story. It's just a bunch of words that you have heard over and over again, have seen demonstrated over and over again, have thought about, have played out over and over again. That's all it is. And so when you step back to understand that everything is words, then you can start to take your power back. When we were doing the emotional freedom, that's one of the pillars of life, is emotional freedom. And we were working through at the 1010 event, imposter syndrome, and really releasing that and releasing, maybe I'm not doing everything right. why am I causing these delays? Why am I procrastinating? Blah, 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 right? Shooting all over ourselves. And even though we did a technique, I used an EFT around that. What is that? It is like tapping. Tapping is, think of it like acupuncture without the needles. You're using your fingers, but you're using words to activate a story. And through the process of doing an EFT, for instance, and if you want more on that, just hashtag EFT and I can give you a whole bunch of free resources. And I have a lot of complimentary EFT sessions alone on YouTube. So if there's any area in your life where you were like, I should have turned off my phone. Sorry about that. I don't re-record. This is live, folks. If there's an area in your life where you want to shift, go ahead and hashtag EFT and then name the topic, whether it's love or money or clients or imposter syndrome, anything like that. I'm probably already have a resource for you that you can have. So let me know below, and I'm more than happy to hyperlink it for you. But in this emotional freedom, right, we're doing this process and it's dislodging really some of the lies that you believe from your subconscious. What is that? It's just a story. It's a bunch of words that has been said over and over again. One of the things that I talked about in the 1010 event was the way things change is through the act of repetition. Your brain, your subconscious prefers it. It doesn't like hard. It doesn't like hustle. It doesn't like you to push. But if you feed it some words over and over and over again, even if you don't feel it, again, that emotional thing that people are always trying to get you to tap into, it's your own propaganda. You can convince yourself of that and you will start living it out because it is an inside out work. You're never going to go any farther than how you see yourself. And again, that's all just stories. It's just words. But words matter because they become matter. And we were doing this emotional freedom. Everyone was just so moved and taken away, and they were receiving the peace that comes from releasing the lies. We also were talking about personal vitality, and what I was using there was human design. That was allowing you to have your yes be yes and your no be no, and to create healthy boundaries easier. It's not always easy because you love people, and sometimes you have to enact tough love. But when you understand how you are wired for success, then you can, in confidence, use the words to communicate your boundaries. And also then not take offense when they don't want to play in your sandbox. They're like, these are my rules of engagement, and you're happy, you can say yes or no to them. And if you say no, I release you in love. It's easier because you are tapping into how you are wired. But you still have to use words to create that boundary. And so the next section we were talking about was thriving relationships. And I used a combination of human design and tying that into the DISC personality model, DISC. There's nothing wrong with you learning how to communicate differently and more effectively, because the point of communication is to understand and to be understood. Again, words. And there is this misnomer of like, well, I don't want to have to speak differently to someone else because then I'm a phony. No, you're not. You always speak differently to people. If you're a parent, you speak differently to your child and the different stages of their life, because there is a level of understanding that you can't speak to them as though they're 40 years old when they're 4 days old. They're not going to understand you. So if you're a parent, and even if you're not a parent, you've been a child, you understand that you cannot speak to a child, to a 4-year-old, as though they're 40. They're not going to understand no matter how high their intellect is. We always sidestep our communication. There is a way that you talk to your best friend that you don't talk to like that and as open and as free with anybody else. You're doing it already. And in this segment of thriving relationships, I was showing the different personality gift clusters, how to spot them, how to motivate them, by showing what motivates them. In order for you to use the words. And when you use the right words with somebody, it's like magic. You want to activate the gift in them so that you create an environment where everybody is thriving. I mean, that's the point of you talking to somebody, if you're wanting a great relationship, and this stuff works whether you're at work or with your spouse or with your kid. And I remember one of the ladies, as I was doing this, she said, "Oh, that's why me and my son have gotten into it," or something like that, she said. Because recognizing that they were in polar opposite personality gift clusters, and so they weren't really understanding each other in some aspects. This stuff works really fast. But again, it's words. When you learn the words and be like, okay, words matter, you can activate a life cycle or a death one. So what's a death one? It's one where things are deteriorating, they're dying, they are being destroyed. And we know that words matter because most of us, if not all of us, are right now or have been severely wounded by something that happened to us as a child or a young adult through words that have so deeply shaped the way we see ourselves that we are now undoing those erroneous stories. This is why we love mindset work so much, because we understand that we need to reprogram ourselves in a way. Our brain is the most sophisticated AI on the planet. And we get to reprogram ourselves, but we do that through words. And if you are saying, well, words don't matter, when you try to do affirmations, they're not going to work for you. And then you're like, this stuff doesn't work. It does work because you've been saying it doesn't work. You've been saying words don't matter. And then when you try to shift that, you're expecting an immediate turnaround because somebody else's story, they had an immediate turnaround. But what they don't tell you is that they've been working on it for a while. What they don't tell you is that they believe every word that they say. They don't tell you that they're expecting their words to come to pass. Do you expect your own words to come to pass? Because they're doing it whether you believe it or not. You've just been doing it by default. And this is the way you take your power back, by doing it by design. When I talked about the flow of abundance, it's around these 5 elements that I've been talking about on YouTube, and I did a deeper dive. But I wanted to kind of close the loop here on YouTube for this series. If you want to flow in abundance, most of your issues have been 2 inches below your nose. It's your mouth. It is what you say about you. It is what you believe about yourself, and it's coming out of your mouth. These things are working, just like gravity is working. The scientists really don't know how gravity works. They just, they're like, well, there's these things called gravitons. They don't know what that is. It's a theory. But they say the theories so much that we think it's fact. They actually don't know how it works. But there's something that's working that's keeping us on the ground. But you know what lifts us off the ground? The law of lift. So yes, there is a law that keeps you on the ground. But there is a higher law, the law of lift, that will allow you to fly. I mean, now we do it in airplanes. Maybe one day we will teleport. But the law of lift supersedes gravity. It allows us to fly. If you want to fly, if you want to flow in abundance, then start to operate the other laws, because they're there. They are laws, which means that they work for whoever works them. Period. It's a law for a reason. And you will not escape this law. Words are seeds. They are containers of power. As seeds, They are releasing a life cycle or a death cycle. You will have whatever you sow. And if you have been sowing the wrong seeds, then this is the day you take your power back. Speak death over all the bad seeds that you have sown in your thoughts, in your deeds, in your words that are not in alignment for your highest good, and reset. Is it that simple? Yes. You may not believe so, but it is that simple. And then you need to start, you don't need to, you're grown, you can do what you want. But I would highly suggest, as someone who flows in abundance, that then you start to practice and give yourself some grace. You have been having crooked speech, which means that it's idle, it's not doing any good, it's not really activating life cycles all the time, maybe for a long period of time. And so the good news is that once you correct your path and you set a new GPS, then you will get there faster, and it's not going to take you as long. How long is this going to take? It really depends on how much focus, right? This is an attention economy. So how much are you paying attention to yourself? How much are you paying attention to yourself? Are you paying yourself with your own attention? Are you choosing to audit what you allow through your eye gate and your ear gate? That's up to you. You get to decide that. You get to decide that. And the more you pay yourself with your own attention to yourself, especially around your words, the faster your outcome will manifest, because it's already yours. It's there. What you seek is seeking you too. And there are ways where you can fast track this. So give yourself 30 days. Your life can be significantly different in the next 90 days. 30 to 90 days. Every day saying something that is in alignment with what you want in a way that you can receive it. And there's different ways for you to do that. And I've been talking about this in YouTube. But if you want more of that, of how to do it, and all this juicy stuff that I was talking about at the event, then go ahead and hashtag 1010, and then I would get you that information. Or join us in the society where I have, if you love to binge watch like on Netflix, I have things by topics in that group where you can dive in, create your own seminar, like take a day off from work, create your own seminar, and then have at it. Or maybe you can't. Maybe you have the weekends off. Take your Saturday or your Sunday, create a seminar and go through everything. And when you're in that group, you can download everything. There's thousands and thousands of dollars worth of information, courses, alchemy assets in there. There's no excuse. If you don't want to pay for something, I have plenty of complimentary resources. But how are you going to pay yourself? By changing. This is a rudder for the boat that you're in. It's your mouth. What are you willing to pay yourself? Pay yourself with your attention. Pay yourself with the time. Pay yourself with the focus. And really, you don't need that much to start seeing things turn around. Are you willing to invest in yourself 10 minutes a day or less? Or less. I have strategies for that too. If you want to chat, hashtag strategies below. There are strategies that you can implement that will start to turn things around, but they have to turn things around first in you. And then it's everything else, because you will never go any further than how you see yourself and how you feel about yourself, which is why when people tell you to focus on visualizing the emotions, how you feel about yourself is going to block that. You might be able to feel good about yourself in the moment, but if that's not your default, it's going to take longer. There's a better way. There's an easier way. There's a less overwhelming way. And it all starts with the integrity of your own words. Who cares what everybody else is doing? Who cares if nobody else is, being integritous with their word? This thing about, well, I don't believe their words. I'll see it when, I'm watching their actions. Yes, faith without works is dead. Their actions should be corresponding to what they're saying. But why are you giving your power away? Why? You're basing what's happening in your life based on what other people are doing. Captain, take control of your ship. And the good news is you don't have to do it alone. If you're a businesswoman, that I invite you to be part of my Facebook group, Wired for Success. You just look up Wired for Success on Facebook and come and join us over there. It's a free group. You can have that community aspect, the support that you need, because you need accountability, consistency, and support. But Captain, take your power back. Take control of your ship. And the good news is you don't have to do it alone. You don't. Go through my YouTube list and the Daily Shift podcast playlist. Start there. Pay yourself. I believe you're worth it. That's why I'm doing these. I'm doing these because I believe in you. I can sense you. I can feel you. You're worth me investing in you through things like this and workshops and masterclasses and the other things I'm doing. But I believe in you so much that I'm doing this for free. Helping you with these kinds of things. It's free to you, but it's not free to me. I'm paying for it. You've been paying for it too by paying attention. So congratulations. And I'm so proud of you. And until next time, which will be very, very soon, may God's richest and best be yours. I love you.